Hi, Lisa. I'm letting the sounds of the beautiful alchemy bowls just... Oh, thanks. It's getting a bit late in the evening here in the UK. It was... It's always really difficult when it gets into the evening. Hi, everybody. I'm seeing a few more people starting to find me now. It's a late evening, but then this evening, the full moon, erase, the new moon at 1 degree of Sagittarius is actually, I think it's 22:57. So it's into the evening, almost the end of the day here. So actually we are moving into this point of the dark moon. This is, as the energies start to come to their zenith, they are more potent than they are at any other time. Kit's now decided to come and communicate as well. So I'm not too sure what she's up to. Hi, Juliana. Hi, Nikki. It's just lovely having the opportunity to share the sounds, and the crystal bowls and the roses seem to work so well together. It's always a beautiful carry away for the energies, for the time, and yeah, it's always a delight to actually be able to come on and use them on hi Mary, hi Nikki, on the calls as well. So yeah, the new moon, or the dark moon this evening here in the UK, is at 22:57 this evening at 1 degree of Sagittarius. So we are shifting out of this eclipse energy, which has really been potent. I don't know many people that haven't had a real sense of the power of these two eclipses, the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse. They were super powerful. And of course, what they were trying to do was to stir the pot for us, to bring up anything that was really calling us to pay attention and to really take notice and do whatever inner work was needed to process through things, whether that was Ho'oponopono, whether that was finding some place of working with the breath or with movement, so that we can really start to shift this last remaining pieces of the debris before we get to the solstice. And we know that the solstice energy is going to be super transformative for us this year. So whatever we can do to actually make sure that we have purified the vessel, purified our stories and our emotional pieces that we're still hanging on to, that we have had the opportunity, perhaps as I have done in this last week, and that's to have quite a shift around in the house here. There's been a lot of changes going on that are creating a different framework, a landscape for me to be within, but also it's about letting go of a lot of the stuff that we have hung on to, perhaps for forever, seemingly forever. And you may be like me, where everything that you have has a story attached to it. Yeah, I can remember where I've bought things, or the person that gifted me certain things. So we end up with sorry, it's been very demanding. You know, a space that's full of memories, but also, you know, how positive were those memories for us. So, oh, hi, Lizette. Hi. So, you know, this is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to review in this new moon, in this fertile ground of, you know, what new seeds are we planting? What new ways do I want to approach where I am in my life and what I'm wanting to create forward? What we're really, really becoming aware of is that we really do have an awful lot of impact in the way that we experience our daily lives and the visioning that we may have for the future. Some of you will have spotted that I've got a couple of visioning days coming up on the 3rd and 4th. One's online on the Saturday the 3rd, and one's an in-person one here in the Rosie Temple on the 4th. And, you know, where are we really holding this focus for being in mastery of what we've learnt in this year so far? And what is it that actually the heart is calling for? What is it that we are longing for to have as a grounding rod, if you like, a place of non-negotiable in this year ahead? What is 2023 going to look like for us? And it's very easy in the chaos that is we can sense, even if we don't have a lot of engagement with it, what we can sense going on in our outer landscape. We may minimize our involvement with that sense of almost powerlessness to the craziness that is being presented on lots of levels in our external landscape. But actually the place that we have the choice over is in the breath, and bringing the breath back into the place of this is the moment, this is the now moment, through the breath. Just one breath after another. Hi, Anne. Hi. I'm wondering whether you're still in India or whether you're en route back. Or it's just wonderful seeing people's journeys and seeing the different places that people are traveling to at this point, and really feeling that sort of shift in the frequency of what we're being able to draw towards us now. So I've really appreciated seeing your journey, Anne. There's been some wonderful pictures that Anne's been posting of her journey in India, which has just been a delight. So what are we calling for in this dark moon? What can be seeded in this dark moon that is full of potent new beginnings? But we know that actually we are still in a process of seeding these thoughts, seeding these visions, seeding what it is that we are really being drawn to. Hi, Mariah. Hi. So this is, at the moment, Jupiter is still retrograde as we move into this zenith point of this new moon. And it turns direct within 5 minutes after the new moon. So it's interesting that we move into the new moon still in reflection, still looking not exactly back over our shoulders, but we are looking at where we've been. And yet very shortly after that point of going through the new moon point, the dark moon point at 22:57 or whatever it is in the UK this evening, very shortly after that, there is a movement that starts to move us forward, at least in some parts of our lives. So we can start to see that what the work was that the eclipses were doing for us, where they were stirring the pot, where they were bringing things to notice, and we've been percolating with those, there is the opportunity now to start to be able to put things in forward motion. Jupiter is a very expansive planet, so actually what we're looking at is where we're wanting to put energy. Where do we want to put our energy going forward? And it's interesting because I've, in the last few weeks, have had a whole new body of work that is starting to birth. And it's a step-by-step process. And as many of you that have followed the rose journey with me will know that, you know, the roses came through in 210 and they had a growth trajectory of 210 to 214. And then the first oracle deck was published. And then there were another 7 roses that added themselves to the second edition, which is what we work with now. But that's, I get to the place when I think, oh, that's it then. That bit's completed. And yet there is something else that feels like it is the culmination of my life's work that is starting to percolate through, which is truly, truly fascinating. And I know many of you have either had projects that you've completed, books that have been published. Mariah's got a lovely book that has just been published called Labyrinth. You know, so, you know, there are exciting developments for all of us that are walking either the rose path or have been walking, you know, a different pathway home to self. Because we are really being called to bring to fruition our creative endeavours. We are creator beings. We come from the Creator. Our creativity is our greatest gift to the universe. Oh, thanks, Jess. So, you know, these are truly extraordinary times. And to stay focused and aware of what might be percolating through us in order to be of service to this next evolving part of the journey. Because I feel that 2023 will be such a different energy, and there will be, you know, more opportunities for us to really confidently step forward. Everything's shifting. You know, everything is shifting. If we look back over these last 3 years, there has been such a phenomenal shift in our approach to life, in our approach to nature, in our approach to our resources, and you know, maybe you are feeling actually much more present to yourself now than you ever have been. There is something that is, it's almost like a rubber hits the road sort of feeling, where if not now, when? And if not me, who? That is going to bring us to the place where we have the courage, age, heart, strength to step forward into things that we're really being called to do. So these are exciting times. And I'm also mindful that, you know, there are many that I've had contact with in this last few weeks that are having to let go of people, of loved ones that are moving on, that have completed their journey on the earth plane. These are times of huge, huge change. And again, what tools do we have at our disposal to help us navigate some of these more tricky places? That is part of our humanness, part of our human story, part of our human journey. So, hi Jackie, hi. So let's have a look and see what the wisdom of the roses might be as we move through this dark moon, this place of inner, and we've still got Mars retrograde. So, you know, perhaps some of our energy to go out in the world isn't as vibrant, shall we say, wasn't as vibrant as it might have been. but you know, there are lots of good things happening, and there's, you know, some amazing new light technologies that are beginning to percolate, and all of these things are enabling us to recalibrate in pretty short order, really, if we have the opportunity. Right, let's have a look and see what the wisdom of the roses may have to offer us for this evening. So the first rose is Rose Angel 10. And Rose Angel 10 speaks to us of self-love, self-value, self-esteem. Where is there still a place in which you need to be able to turn around and be able to put both hands here and offer yourself the compassion and the kindness and the self-love? One of the things that I've been doing this week is I've been shifting around in the bedroom here. I finished some painting, and there was a big nudge to go to where I've got some of my fabrics stored from my wedding dress days and find the curtains, the French tapestry curtains that I used to have up in my wedding dress shop. And it wouldn't have been, it was furthest from my thoughts of where, you know, I had curtains at the bedroom windows, but the nudge was to go and get these French tapestry curtains, which absolutely look incredible in the room. But goodness, did they take me back into the 18 years that I made silk and antique French textile dresses. And that then took me into, you know, the portfolios I've got and the boxes of photographs and things and letters from clients. And just to be able to take a moment to appreciate the complexity of my journey. My journey has been colourful, but just to appreciate the creativity. And so we started talking about creativity this evening, but you know, creativity actually comes from the same place in the body where we hold self-love, self-value, self-esteem. This is sacral chakra stuff. The sacral chakra, together with the base chakra, holds the energy of our family imprint, our genetic coding, our sense of, you know, here I am, I'm Sandy, I've arrived. You know, it's that connection into the land we birth in. It's the connection to the family, the tribe that we birth into, our birth tribe. And what rises from that into the sacral is that sense of individuation. Who am I inside the tribe? What do I stand for? What am I growing from? What's the fertile ground that I'm growing from? And you know, how much was that sense of self-love, self-value, self-esteem fostered in me from childhood? Or have you had a journey like me where that wasn't fostered in childhood, and then you spend the rest of the journey on that journey home, if you like, to self, to be able to appreciate the qualities that you do bring and the sense of your journey through life. And of course, a lot of times we can't really see that until we start looking back down the line. But this rose is part of the Rose Angels, and they are the transformers for the 5 wounds to love. And base, second chakra together hold the wound of abandonment. So what she offers us is an insight into a salve, that if we've got any place within us where we're still holding abandonment issues, the salve for that is self-love, where we can learn to really appreciate who we are without expecting that to be given elsewhere, and that we see, I am enough, I am worthy. So this rose is an absolute beauty. She's a rose called the Queen of Sweden. She's very scented. She's a David Austin rose, and I photographed her. I won tickets for the Chelsea Flower Show one year, and this rose was on the David Austin stand at the Chelsea Flower Show, and she is an absolute beauty. So perhaps just even that few minutes of being able to affirm to yourself how well you've done to have navigated this most complex of times on the earth, and you know, the courage and the resource that you've perhaps been able to offer yourself and to offer others. You know, we all do the very best we can in these challenging times. So let's see what the second rose might be. Another rose angel. Interesting. So this time we've got, I think it's Rose Angel 8. Yes, Rose Angel 8. So these clearly, which type of, she's a rose called the Queen of Sweden. I don't know which type of David Austin rose she is, Jess, but she's, you know, that petal down is just like an invitation to enter. She's like calling you in. She wants to wrap her petals around you and just breathe into you that sense of, I mean, she's so beautiful. She's just so gorgeous. You know, she wraps you in love, and she reminds you that self-love is really important. And perhaps she's also saying, is there any place here where you need to up your game as to in your self-care? So this rose Angel 8, sits on the solar plexus, and she is the salve for the wound of betrayal. And she says, that the only place you can go is to trust. So when we trust our gut wisdom, when we trust our absolute gut knowing, there is no possibility that we would experience betrayal. Betrayal is an interesting energy because we can experience being betrayed, and we can betray, but we can also betray ourselves. And this really is the calling of watching where you've betrayed yourself. Where have you betrayed your gut wisdom, your gut knowing? Because I can guarantee you that if you have experienced betrayal outside of yourself, that at some level, you know, unless you were a small child, obviously, when the program was being set, but there was a gut knowing that something wasn't right in later years, you know, as adults, when we have experienced the betrayal of another. So this is a really interesting energy to work with. And what she is asking you is to be absolutely clear in trusting your gut wisdom. Knowing when there's that slight contraction on the solar plexus or a sharp intake of breath, and you think something's not feeling right. And that's all she's saying. Just trust your gut wisdom. Because we know when we finish, when you experience that feeling of betrayal, what do we often use the terminology? I felt gutted. Yeah. And our solar plexus, our gut wisdom, is absolutely such a key gift in our journey, to be able to stay fully present and just to question what's going on. But this rose she's another David Austin, actually. She's called Fragrant Delight. And she just opens her golden heart. It's just like, oh yes, I totally trust myself. I am willing to open my golden heart because I trust myself and I trust my gut knowing. So she's a beautiful, beautiful energy to work with. Stunning. Again, one of the ways you could work with her, you just put her onto your solar plexus and you just breathe her. And you breathe with her and you go, yeah, absolutely, I totally get your message. I absolutely trust my inner wisdom. That's interesting. It's unusual for us to get two rose angels in the, but they're inviting us to self-love, self-value, self-esteem, and deep, deep trust in our gut wisdom and our inner knowing, and trusting who we are, trusting our value. So let's see what the third rose might be. Well, whatever's going on with this new moon, it's obviously inviting us to be well resourced. So we have got Rose Ma 3, and I've got a feeling she came up in the last reading actually. And this is a rose that came from the Alhambra in Granada. She was sitting in a rose bed that was in the shadows. All the sunlight was around this particular rose bed. And she was sat there absolutely radiant in her presence. And she said, although I sit in the shadows, still I am beautiful. And I wait until it's my time to shine. So it's like her consciousness knew that she was beautiful, regardless of whether the sun was shining on her. But she knew too that as the sun went round, the sun would cast its light on her in the rosebed. And she says, I am inner strength. I am resourced within. I have boundless depths, and I can hold myself strong. So these three roses, goodness knows what we've got coming down the tubes. If we have much more rain here in Somerset, I'm going to get a boat. But here she is. This one is saying self-love, self-value, self-esteem. This is the foundation of everything going forward. And it's not done from an egotistical perspective. It's saying that unless my foundation is strong in myself and my belief in myself and my appreciation of myself, then I don't have good boundaries. And actually anybody can come and go and blow me over. That this is really the place where my power resides, deep, deep in my sacral chakra. And that sacral chakra is rooted and comes out of that base chakra imprint. Have I cleared all of the stories that came gifted to me from my ancestral lineage, the stories that were gifted down through the inherited line that I have come to clear? Because we are an alchemical pot, right? We have the stories within us that came down the line. They were gifted to us to heal, to clear, for the collective, but also for our children. So our inner work not only changes our own lives, it changes the lives around us and it changes the lives down the line. And she's saying self-value, self-love, self-esteem. I am worthy. I am enough. This Rose Angel 8 is saying, trust. Trust your gut wisdom. Trust your inner knowing. Trust your intuition. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful energy. Open-hearted. I mean, just beautiful. Look at that golden corona. She has a golden crown. But she's saying, absolutely, I trust my inner knowing. And we have Rose Ma 3. And she says, though I sit in the shadows, still I am beautiful. And I just wait until it's my time to shine. All of us have the right time to shine. And the master knows when to speak and when not to speak, when to step forward and when to stay silent. So this is absolutely, a beautiful, beautiful rose as we go in to this dark moon, into the zenith of this dark moon, and allow ourselves to take this journey towards the solstice. I really, really believe that for many of us there will be further insights as to what we are really being called to hold and to bring forward as we go through to the solstice. I think there are more revelations. There will be more revelations out in the world, because this is the time when secrets and what has been hidden is eventually going to make its way to plain sight, which is going to be shocking in a lot of ways. But absolutely, the inner revelations, the aha moments of actually, this is what lights me up, this is what I'm here for, and to have the courage to step forward. I believe that we may have a little bit more time where the work is an inner process, and if we pay attention to the inner process, we will be ready to shine at the right time as the sun comes round and shines on us. So, there we are. There's our 3 energies for this new moon, new beginnings, new opportunity to do things slightly differently, to not play out the same groove. When we've done things over and over again, the neural pathways in the brain are not meandering down a country lane. They are going down the freeway, or they're going down the M3 if you're in the UK, in a nanosecond. We can be taken there without the conscious awareness of, I am beginning to move towards doing something in a repeated pattern, a habitual pattern. And this is the golden, golden opportunity to take a breath. Perhaps put a hand in on your heart and go, I think I might just think about what I'm going to do here. I wanted to bring this little bowl in this evening because she's only a half-size bowl, but she is really powerful. So I hope the reading has been of use this evening, and it's inspired you along the journey in these fast-changing times. As I say, there is an online visioning course, a visioning afternoon here in the UK on the 3rd of December with the roses, and there's a full day visioning day here on the 4th in the New Rosie Temple. And I've got some new work that I will be launching, I think about the second week of January, which I think is going to be really exciting. And yeah, I hope that perhaps some of you might be drawn to join me on any of the above. And yeah, go well. Just feel into this moving into this dark moon. I think it's a couple of hours now. Yeah, just over a couple of hours, 2.5 hours from now is the actual point of the dark moon. And just be aware that within a very short order after the dark moon, that Jupiter will go direct, and there will be a slight shift in our energies, and we are out of the Scorpio eclipse season and we are moving into something that has a slightly different energy to it. And I hope that it will prove a very fertile ground for you to really work into the magic that you are individually working to bring forward for the new year. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. It's always lovely to see people pop up on these readings, and thank you for all the hearts that I got to see running up through my screen. I just so appreciate it, and much love and rosy blessings. Bye for now.